Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars, some of my favourite people, and Simon Lipkin. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Do you know what? I'm really good. I saw opening night of this Nativity in Coventry, and there's two things that are brilliant about the show. One, the show is brilliant, but two, you drive it with such beautiful energy. You really are incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'm humbled and shy now about it, but thank you. That is very lovely. It's a joy to do and a joy to be a part of.
I guess the key is the energy. I mean, you can't go into this half-cock. You've got to give it 100%. And both the mums love you because you're a nice bit of trouser, and the kids think you're really cute because you're like Santa Claus on stage, aren't you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, all right, we'll take that. It is. I think it's like a mixture. I don't think you can. Obviously, you have to put a lot of energy into it because he's a big kid, right? He has the energy of anyone. I'm sure we've all looked after a sort of 8, 9, 10-year-old for the day. They don't stop, so you have to kind of put that into it. But also, I think for comedy, inherently there always has to be kind of a relaxed ease about it. So it's kind of finding that balance where you can land a joke, not be trying too hard, but also be running around like a maniac. And there's a fine line somewhere in there for that. So that's what I try and go for.
The show is magical on a Christmas level, but the writing is so brilliant. They've really crafted the script and given you every sort of opportunity to get big laughs. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that Debbie Isaac works, Debbie Isaac is it's her brainchild, it's her baby, the world of Nativity. She writes a story structure. So she writes every scene beat for beat. This is what happens here, this is what happens. But what you say is up to you. So this whole thing, I write the jokes, write the lines, write what I'm going to come up with, and I can change that nightly, which is a brilliant freedom to have, because you can go out one night and kind of go, oh, I'm going to try this, or I'll try that, or I'll change this little bit, which is also, I think, really exciting for an audience because they get something that nobody else sees. You know, they might just get one little gem that never happens again, that's just for them. So I think that's pretty exciting.
The first time we met was Avenue Q, which is one of the wittiest shows and one of the most brilliantly crafted again. I suppose there are some similarities, though, where the timing is key. If you get it wrong. In this, how do you know you're funny?
Well, that's a good question. I think the obvious answer is people laugh, right? That's a giveaway. If they laugh, it went well. If they don't, that's always it. You can argue about, I think this joke will work, I think it won't. Great, let's do it. Did they laugh? It worked. Did they not laugh? We cut it. We get rid of it. But timing, that's a different question, isn't it? How do you work that? Because timing is inherent in the many brilliant comedians that grace the stage. You just feel it. I think the difference is when you do a film, when you do any kind of filming, you do it and you do it multiple times, and then somebody else edits your performance. Somebody else puts the timing and the laughs into your performance. When you're on stage, you're the editor. You're the person that goes, right, this needs to move quicker, this needs to go slower. They're laughing big there, so I can't give them another big laugh because they'll be exhausted. I need to then go back to a little laugh, medium laugh, big laugh, that's gone there. You feel the ebb and the flow of the comedy in the moment, in the room. So every show is slightly different. Every show has a different pace to it because every audience is different. So I think, you listen to the crowd, you listen to them, and you do your best to make them laugh.
You're pretty good, and I've seen you work many times over the decade or so I've known you, but you're nothing compared to the kids in this show. I mean, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the stars. They're the stars. We are mere paupers in comparison to the stars that are the kids. They're amazing. And what's brilliant about them is that they're not stage school kids. They're not kids that have been performing since they were fresh from the womb. You know, they are normal kids from the Midlands who can barely walk in a straight line. They find it difficult to say their own names sometimes. But they're brilliant so kids' imaginations are so intact. So they say whatever comes into their brain. They have no filter. You and I think social standing says, I can't say that. They don't do that. They just go, I'm going to say this. And so when you're doing a scene with them, and if you just catch one of them off guard and ask them a question, they will answer you, I think honestly is the best way to put it, which is, honesty is hurtful and funny. So if I say, how do I look today? They're going to say, bit rough. Bit rough.
Didn't sleep well last night.
You did not. You need to work on that. But yeah, so they are brilliant and amazing, and they're joyous, and I think they embody the heart that is Nativity. You know, it's not about the adults. Sure, it's great that I turn up and make people laugh, and it's great that like Scott Garnham's Mr. Madden's, you know, and Ashley Gray's Jennifer, they break your heart, and that's great. But it is no one can do what those kids do, and the show is nothing without them.
And they're so unique and individual. That's what's beautiful, aren't they? They've each got their own personality. Yeah. You can't help but fall in love with them by the end.
Well, exactly. Debbie goes on the search for these kind of little tearaways, these little kids that probably don't fit in, that are a little bit weird, and that is the beauty of it, because the amount of children that come and see the show and recognise themselves on a stage and go, well, that could be me. You know, I got a bunch of letters from a primary school that came to see the show a few weeks back, and every kid in the class wrote me a letter, and there was this one kid that said, I'm not very good at spelling or maths, but one day I might grow up to be like Mr. Poppy, and it broke my heart. Well, the first thing I thought was, you need to aim higher, but also you know, that joy that goes. You know, the whole essence of these kids and Mr. Poppy is that no isn't a word. There's nothing that they can't achieve. Why can't anyone have the same go as anybody else? And so when kids come and see the show, and adults for that matter, to be reminded of that, and especially in this day and age, in this world that we are living in right now, we could all do with a laugh, and we can all do with a bit of hope, and we can all do with just thinking, well, actually, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you do. If we all just stick our arms around each other and try and do this together, it'll go the best that it can go, you know? And I think that's a special thing in itself, right?
It's utterly joyous, this show. And then, of course, there's the movie, which is out this weekend. I mean, you're a movie star. How did that happen?
I don't want to jinx it. I don't know the answer to it. It's out today, Friday the 23rd. This weekend it's out. Go see it. Debbie called me up and just said, how do you feel? So I've known Debbie about 4 or 5 years now, and I did a little spot in the last film, and I've done a couple of other bits of TV and film stuff, and she just called me up and she said, how do you feel about leading this one? And I said, yeah, all right, yeah, let's give it a go. And then all of a sudden my face was 20 foot high on a cinema screen.
Does it ever become normal? I mean, seeing yourself on a stage is one thing because you're on every billboard in the country. But then when you see yourself at the Showcase Cinema in Darlington, to Dudley, to London, to Nottingham, to Belfast, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's crazy. We had the premiere at the beginning of the week, and I was driving up to it, and I had this weird moment in my head where I thought, wow, you're driving to your movie premiere. And as I thought that, my face went past me on a bus, and I thought, if sort of 10-year-old me could be here now and go, I never thought this was on the cards. I did not know that this was going to happen. It is surreal but exciting and wonderful, and a brilliant opportunity. I think there's quite a stigma attached between people that do musicals. Are lesser actors or not as capable. And it's nonsense. It really is nonsense. I know some brilliant actors in musicals, and I know some terrible actors that do straight plays and films. You know, like there's no rhyme or reason as to why they're mutually, why they're exclusive. So it's amazing. It's amazing to be up there, and it's amazing to give it a go. And I hope everyone sees it and enjoys it and has a nice time.
There are so few people in musical theatre who actually stick out and have a blessed career like yours. I mean, so many incredible roles over the decade or more that you've been doing it. Yeah. And do you wonder why you at this point? I mean, you've got the leading role in this, whether it be back in the day in Avenue Q. You've worked continually ever since. So few people have that.
Right. I think obviously. There's that old saying, isn't there? Comedy sorts the men from the boys, or the women from the girls, or anything. I don't know whether it's like I got lucky, when I was lucky enough to get Avenue Q. It was right time, right place. I'm sure there was other people that could have done the job just as well, if not better. But at that time, they needed someone who could do some silly voices and work a puppet, and I got lucky. So, and then that obviously helps. And I don't know, you work hard, you try and be nice, you try and do every job to the best of your ability. And I don't know, maybe there aren't too many 6'2", quirky looking dark-haired comedians.
And finally, on you, your voice is terrific too. I mean, you really are the triple threat. Being funny, being able to act, and to be able to sing as well you do is incredible.
You left out dancing. I see that. You left out dancing. I can't put one foot in front of the other.
No. You can't have everything though, can you? I'd stick with what you've got. I mean, in this show, again, you get to shine. It's not one of those sort of wicked big sing shows, but there's some beautiful musical numbers in it, and it's beautifully staged. They've really gone to great effort for what is basically a 2-month tour.
Yeah, exactly. It's well, Debbie's a film director, so the movement between scenes in a film is what she tried to achieve on stage. And so there's no big set changes, there's no big, everything flows. It's like you blink and you're in the next scene, and it all just continually moves. And she's hilarious. You'll be in the middle of improv in a scene and trying to work it out, and she'll just shout, bored, like, next, move, do it quicker. The scenes all are snappy, they're fast. Get to the point, make them laugh, get off. Get to the point, make them cry, get off. Like, it all moves continually. But I'm very lucky. I mean, in this I get to play piano and drums and guitar and have a sing song, and yeah, she is all about what's going to be an entertaining night. I think sometimes with entertainment we take it very seriously, and we try and be very worthy and noble, and at times you kind of just want to go, well, we just want to have a laugh, don't we? We just want to smile and feel a bit warm and fuzzy, and that's what she goes for, and I think she has nailed it with this show.
Congratulations, it's a beautiful show. Nativity touring the UK, it's without question a 5-star show. Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much, thanks for having me.